Hello guys, welcome to Expertiser Academy, Microsoft project. So today we're going to quickly see some of the terminologies that is quite often used within Microsoft project, and some of these things are very generic as well, so not specific to Microsoft project. So let's quickly run through some of these ones. All right. So I have opened a sample project, so just to give an idea that we can explore and we can learn these terminologies. Okay. So first is, so let's go to file menu. Let's start from here. So this info tab, all you see here is your backstage view. So you can click here and you can go to your pretty much your account status and things like that. And then the main thing is this is your organization. So this is where you set your entire Microsoft project level settings. So that means every project that is created. So this, if you have not specified any granular level settings, it will take it from here. So this is the overall settings. This is called a backstage view. Okay. So then if you go to your options, so you can configure some of the project file level settings. So that's like, let's say whenever you display, the calendar type will be Gregorian calendar, and this is, I think this is for Arabic calendar, and this is a Thai Buddhist calendar. I think this is a default one that you guys use it. So next one is your symbol. This is your currency symbol, and you can have the placement before or after. The placement is basically where you want the currency symbol to be, before or after. And then the currency, so you can have a separate symbol for each the same currency as well, so you can do that. And decimal places for the currency, you can have 2 decimal places, 3, whatever you want to have. And so this is a couple of things that you would set it up. And then the schedule, so the start of the week is Sunday, so if you want it to be Monday or any other days, you can change it. Your fiscal year is January. If you want to put it to July or any whatever the fiscal year of your country is, you can change that. And start time, so by default what happens is this will apply as a overall settings. So this is not a hard constraint as well, just remember, because we are not actually defining the company calendar or the project level calendar. So this is only we are setting pretty much a start time, so that when you look at it up here, and also when you're assigning resources, so if the resource doesn't have any start time or calendar specified to them, it will take it from here. So the start time of the resource will be 8 a.m. and finishes at 5 p.m. and 8 hours a day, and number of hours per week, and then days per month. So this is all the values that you can set it up. And this we can always override with specific calendars, like say project calendar, resource calendars, and there are different calendars as well, so you can change all that right there. So this is just the overall settings. And then schedule type, so that means every time you create a schedule, right, like what you see here, so there is like auto schedule and manual schedule. By default you set it to auto schedule, so that the difference is the auto schedule, if you associate that with another task, if the previous task moves, the second task will adjust its start date. So that is auto schedule. So the manual schedule will not adjust it out by itself. You need to move it every time. So auto schedule is a way to go. But again, if you want to be in control of every movement of the project, then you go for manual schedule. And then auto schedule task scheduled on a project start date. That means every task you added, it automatically goes to from the start date. And the duration you specify by default is days. That means if you say this task is going to take, you say if you put it just 3 in here, it will take it as 3 days. It's not going to take it as 3 weeks or 3 minutes or anything. So it will be just 3 days. And the work is entered in hours. So that's, we will see that. And then the default task type, there are different 3 types here. One is fixed unit, fixed duration, and fixed work. There is a separate chapter going through this one. So this is a bit more complex so for us to understand with examples and stuff. So we need to go through this in bit detail. So fixed unit is a default type. All right. So that's, let me check if there is anything. I think these are all the basic settings generally I will configure. And right after you get in here, so we have already seen this is called a quick access toolbar. And this is called an info bar, where you put all your sign in details and your help and things like that. And this is your tabs. These are called tabs. And under the tabs you see these boxes. So these are called groups or panels, groups, however. And then these are drop downs. And then some of these tools will have little arrows here that will take you to the particular panel settings. So if you go to font settings, so if you just double click there, for some reason it's grayed out. Let's try another one. Come on. That's a shame. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's select it. Let's go here and then, oops, font settings. Here we go. I think I have not selected the row. It should be selected. So it will take you to the settings. So if you are using AutoCAD, this is the same. Okay, so then we got tools underneath. So these are all the tools. And let's quickly run through some of the terminologies here. So first is a Gantt chart. Gantt chart is actually, you can Google it. So this is actually a way of representation of a project. So this is like what you see here. So you can actually see bars and bars connecting to another bar, which is basically task, flows, and things like that. So this is your Gantt chart view. And so next one is your progress bars. So this is where you set your project task level progress. So I can select this one and then say this is 50% complete. So this one, as you can see, the project moves a little bit. So that's 50% complete, and things like that. You can set the completion. And then this one is for splitting a task. So that means you can select a particular task. If it runs for 10 days together, you can split it and say, okay, run it 3 days, take a break, and run it for another 7 days. So this is a splitter task. And then you can do an indentation and outdent. So that is, let's say if you got a task here, so temporary power, which is under this one. So if I just outdent it, now you can see that that's not within that mobile site, mobile on site. So I'm just going to undo it so it comes underneath. Okay, so that's basically tucking things together. So let's say if you put this one here, this becomes like a subtask for the summary task. All right, so next one is mark on track. So that's basically whatever you say it should be completed on 3rd of 9th. If you mark on track, anything that is supposed to be completed for today, it will be completed. All right, it will mark as completed. So that means, you know, we are checking every task and marking it as complete. And then respect links, we'll see it as we go through. Some of these things I need to go through as an exercise. Inspect, if you have some trouble with some of the task or some of the tasks having some conflicts, you can go and inspect, and then it gives you options on how to solve it. It's an automated way, so my suggestion would be is you as a project manager know what task and what should do, and then you can go and adjust it. And move, you can pretty much move a task forward, backward, however you want to do it. And mode, auto schedule or manual schedule, you can set the default mode here. So every time you create a task, it will be auto schedule or manual schedule. And this is a button to create a task. You can also create a task by right clicking here and then insert task, right clicking here, insert task. You can do that. And creating a summary task, it's same as a actual task, but the summary task itself doesn't have any work assignments. You see this one, the bold one, which is a summary task, which is displayed like that. As you can see, it doesn't hold any resource assignments or anything like that. So this basically tells you that this task is called this one, let's say mobilize on site, and this would take 10 days. But if you see, this is not the actual task which takes 10 days. So these all the items which total takes 10 days. So altogether you call this, that's the title of all those tasks together. Okay, so that's the summary task. And then milestones. You can create milestones as you go through, let's say phase 1 completion, phase 2 completion, and it puts a diamond sign in. And then yeah, so things like that. And information, you can click on it and then it takes you to a particular task and then the information about the task. Notes, adding in notes to a task, you can select it and then you can click on add notes. It's a simple interface, and then you can add some notes and then puts a little marker in here. So you keep your mouse on top, it shows it, and then you double click on it and it shows the notes. Simple. And details, task details. Add to timeline, adding a task to the timeline, this is the timeline of the project. You can use a scale to adjust it. That shows you what you're looking at on the Gantt chart as well. And you can see all the important items that you can add to. Don't add everything onto the timeline, then it becomes crowded and becomes useless. So add only the thing that you want to see it, like overall thing. And you can select any task and then click on scroll to task, which will take you to that particular task. Because some of these timelines, let's say final cleanup, let's say, you can see some of these tasks, it's not even in the screen. So you don't want to keep scrolling to find it. So what you do is wherever you are, just click on this one, and the keyboard shortcut is Control Shift F5. That's like a weird keyboard shortcut. My suggestion is map it to something pretty easy. Let's say Control W or whatever, and then so it's like you can handle it from one single hand. So click on this and then it takes you there. So my another suggestion is, so I got a gaming mouse, which is not expensive these days. You can get a gaming mouse or a gaming keyboard, and where you can map uh, keys onto some of these shortcuts. So generally I'll have one of the mouse keys and the keyboard keys specific to scroll to task, because this is one thing. Sometimes you get frustrated because if you don't have the habit of using keyboard shortcut for this one, because you might be on a different tab, and then if you want to come back again to find this to click it, you will find lazy, and then you tend to scroll, and you get very frustrated because you are also fixing the project problems, you're updating the project progress, and apart from that you're also trying to find things, and you're spending so much time to scrolling up and down and zooming zoom out. Trust me, it's gonna be on your nerves. And then on these columns you see the task mode, which shows you whether it's a manual task or an auto task, and then the task name, so that's you can type in whatever you want, and the duration, so it's like total duration that the task is going to take, start time, finish time, predecessor, successor, we'll have a separate chapter on that. That's basically tells you what task you're going to do it after this one or before this one, what task that needs to be completed. So that's what the predecessor successor is. You can have multiple constraints as well. That means you can say you have to finish 3 tasks to start this one, or you have to finish this one to start another 2 tasks. However, you can do all that fancy stuff. Resources, so you can assign resources, create resources. Pretty much your resources are cost resource, material resource, and human resource. So we'll go that into detail in a separate chapter. And so you can create resource and assign it to the project. As you cross execute the project, it will start consuming the resource as you assigned it, and then you get to see how much cost acquired over a period of time. And then reports, whole bunch of reports that you get here, so you can pretty much run them straight away. Hit and run, it generates a report. You can also create a custom reports here. Project, overall tab for project. You can also create sub projects. That means you can have project, and then there will be a separate set of tasks that the client wants to do it in the garage or something, but it's not going to be part of the existing scope of works. So you can create it as a sub project and then put all the tasks for the garage work underneath the sub project, so it's under the main project. Okay, and then so next one is project information. You click on it, it tells you overall project information such as start time, end time, and what sort of finish date we are looking at it, and schedule from start of the project. That means whenever you start creating task, the flow of task is from the start date till the end date. So if you choose it as from the finish date, so that your deadline is constrained, that means you cannot go past the deadline, and then you can schedule the task based on the deadline. So that means it's a bit hard to work this way because you have to work in reverse, but if that's a problem, then you have to work in that way. And then the calendar, so you can choose whatever the calendar you're working on. You can create your own custom calendar, separate chapter for calendars, pretty big detailed chapter on that. And then status, date, and the current date, what's your current date is, and priority. So you can, if you have multiple projects, that say if this is one of the sub projects, you can set priority for your project here. So these values will be used when you do reports and things like that, so it's going to be useful. And statistics, so you can click on it, and then it shows you as of today. So this is your current and baseline, actual, and remaining. So that means how much money, time, hours, everything, that's what's being used and what's left. You can get to see that. And so then we got WBS. WBS is called forgot that. What is that? Work breakdown structure. Yes, work breakdown structure. So let's say if you have this one here, let's insert one, insert column. I'm gonna call it as WBS. So it's basically like these numbers, indexes. So it's like, say, books index. So each task you can have a code, unique code to it. My suggestion would be is like most people tend to ignore it. So my suggestion is always use it. So you ask people to, every time they send an email or any communications, anything, refer back to the code and then specify whatever the details they want to discuss, so that you can track all the information related to, let's say, task 4. Let's say 5.3. So if you want to track everything related to 5.3, you can track it very easily. So you can customize this WBS code much more complex as well. Change work timings, you can click on it and you can set your work timings, your holidays, everything. So this comes under the calendar module. We can do that. And calculate project, so this just goes and does all the calculations and update your statistics under the project information. And set baseline, so this is basically you taking a snapshot of your project so you can compare against, okay, what you forecasted today and what was the delay after 1 month, and what was the changes that is there, and what sort of cost that is changed, and everything that you can set it, you can check it from the baseline. Move the entire project to a separate date, you can do that. Update project, so every changes that you have done, if you click on update project, it will go and update the timelines, move the task, everything that you need to do. And views, you can get into different views. Some of the views that you would use is Gantt chart view, tracking view, and if you don't get to see a lot of views here, so you can click on this place and then you get to see view bar, and then you can change between different views, or you can even select here and then you can change between different views here. So view bar lets you change between different views. Some of the views that would be useful is Gantt chart view, network diagrams, which you can print it, and it's one of the really useful views. And you can print into a big A1 sheet or something and put it into your project room so that people can see it and then they can scribble on top of it. Really cool one. And then task sheet, that's what we saw along with the Gantt chart, but more like an Excel sheet. You can even export it to an Excel sheet pretty easily. And tracking Gantt, timelines, tracking Gantt, and then a whole bunch of other views. Okay, easy. Teams, you can choose teams and collaborate with them and things like that. This is part of the Microsoft project getting into the cloud and stuff like that. So yeah, play around with the cloud version. Nothing too different, but the desktop version is more powerful. Format, you can select anything and then, general Excel formatting. Alright, so that's it for today, guys, and there's a lot more terminologies to go through. So this is just some of the terminologies for you to get into the stream, and then we'll keep walking through the other chapters. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel.